Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our next series or a session on our Business Unusual series. Today, we have the brothers Nuradin and Hashim Omar of MasterRemit. Before we begin, I first want to acknowledge the traditional owners upon the land which we meet. I'm on Wurundjeri land of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. Always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Good evening, Nuradin and Hashim. Thank you so much for joining us for our Q&A session today.
Thank you, Jamin.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. We are, happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, I'm really excited to be exploring more about MasterRemit and your journey in setting up MasterRemit. Because it's an amazing fintech that I'm so proud of, actually, because it's come from the community, it serves the needs of the community, and also you're able to scale it globally as well. So congratulations on your feat so far.
Yeah, thank you, Jermaine. It's a long journey, but we've got a lot of work to do in terms of, scaling to the next phase.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, tell us more about yourself. What's your background? What made you decide to sort of get into this entrepreneurial journey? We'll start off with you, Nuradin.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Jamin. For me, I lived in Australia, almost 2/3 of my life. We migrated to Australia when we were young and did all my schooling and education, high-level education and bachelor level education in Australia. Then I, by trade, I'm a software engineer, and then moved to management, moved to more project management and consulting, then worked into industry for quite a long time, one of the big blue chip IT companies. Then I saw a problem that is common to everyone. And the problem was, people were not getting the right service that they need to be able to send money back home in a mostly convenient, quicker way and cheaper way of sending money back home. So one upon a time, one of my mom was having the problem. So I said, the technology is here. If my mom having the problem at the same time, other people also will have this, the problem. So that's how MasterRemit was born back in 2019.
That's absolutely amazing. And Hashim, how did you then get into the mix?
Yeah, so how I got into the mix is obviously Nuradin and I obviously being brothers and also very close brothers outside the family as well. Based on some of the skills and capabilities that I had, it was reasonable for us to really do a matchmake and become a joint partner in executing the idea that Nuradin originally founded, based on the skills that he had from the technical IT background, and based on the skills that I had from management and consulting and executing. We were able to combine those skills together to develop MasterRemit.
That's excellent. And it's inspiring to sort of hear that, you identified a problem that you yourselves were facing when trying to send money to, people back home. And then you decided, hey, how can we make it cheaper, easier, and more accessible for everyone?
Yeah, it is, and that problem still exists. Africa is one of the most expensive continent to send money back home, right? Literally, bigger players such as the bank, bigger players like Western Union, MoneyGram, and etc. Charge about 8% per transaction, right? So that is quite very expensive, given that most of people who sending money back home is to feed their families, right? In terms of sending money home, it's not for leisure, it's not for anything else, just put food on the table. So sending money to Africa is still expensive if you compare continent like Europe, continent like Southeast Asia, South America. So there's still a big gap in Africa, predominantly. That's where we thought that a transaction shouldn't cost 8% compared to where we can cut the middleman. So in a nutshell, that's what MasterRemit stands for: to be able to people to send money back home in a cheaper way and secure and convenient way. And also, in addition to that, right, you don't have to wait for the next day or until a Monday or to be able to send money back home when 9 to 5, we're mostly convenience store open. So at the moment in MasterRemit, you can literally download the application, the app, or the website, and literally send money back home anytime that you want it at the comfort of your home, right? So and also the other advantage is that Australia is 8 hours ahead of Africa, literally. So that means when you come home from work and you just have a dinner with your family, you can still send your money back home and your family can still receive it.
Excellent. Well, let's explore more about how this transaction works, because essentially, historically we sent money through Western Union, through WorldRemit, and all these other transfer services. What makes MasterRemit different compared to all the others?
Hashim, you wanna?
So that's a very good question, Charmaine. So what makes us different or unique compared to our competitors is, number one, one is the price. We are able to alter and play with the price, cut the middleman out, and directly save people money. Secondly is that we use we're leveraging mobile technology, which creates financial inclusive, which means people are able to send money using the latest digital technology that's available today in the market, safely and securely, and they are sure to have their money received instantly to their loved ones with the most possible quickest way. The other advantage that we have over our competitors is we are a locally based Australian-based company. Our call center here is in Australia. People can pick up the phone call and speak to someone here, where some of our competitors, they have taken their call centers offshore to Southeast Asia, those countries, which is nothing wrong with it, but it just creates a bit of hardship time for someone when something goes wrong and they want a quick resolution or they need help and support. Most of them have to be on the phone for about 45 minutes before someone accepts their call. But with us, we've established a customer care service here in Australia where they can call and speak to someone directly and get their services resolved. And this is something that's a huge advantage in terms of why we are different from our competitors.
And if I want to, can I elaborate that more? One of the very unique proposition that we have compared to other big players is, number one, is the service delivery, right? Quickness, right? And at the moment, for example, if you want to send money to Kenya, it literally is less than 3 minutes from MasterRemit. Or one of the big players, such as TransferWise, is which worth $1 billion, $10 billion now, is literally takes about 24 hours, right? That's another big advantage. For example, if you want to send money to Ghana, it literally is a real time. So our product and services, I can say probably 95% are real time. That means it takes less than 3 minutes. So that's one of the big advantages that we have, right? I remember a customer telling me that, as soon as he pressed the button, send, I think, then he called his family, and as soon as they picked up the phone, the money was there in their account. So definitely is the quickness, and that's how we want it. And the second big advantage that we have, and which Hashim alluded to, was that we are cheaper. We are definitely cheaper than our most of competitors. For example, if you look for Botswana, another great country, Botswana, our price is a fixed cost. If you look Kenya, our price are fixed cost. If you look Ghana, our prices are fixed cost. If you look Tanzania, our prices are fixed cost. So that means you only pay a fixed cost. Doesn't matter if you send 5,100, 300, so it's all fixed. So there's a huge advantage that we have compared to there's a comparison between us and our competitors.
Well, I love how you're making money transfer accessible to everyone and so much cheaper, because I understand myself as well, trying to send money to family back in Africa, it is very expensive. And sometimes you then have to wait till you save a lot of money until you then eventually send money, because you're trying to maximize that exorbitant fee that you have to pay to transfer funds. Well, tell me more about the journey of starting up the business. What made you decide to say, okay, this is a problem that I'm facing, let me start a business? What inspired you?
So for me, definitely was not about money. So and that the advice that I give the young people is that if you building something for money, it would never, to be success, to make a success is going to be a very hard journey. Because if you love something and you're passionate about it, then the money comes follow after that, right? So for me, was not always about money. For me, was always about problem and passionate about it. All right. So I always loved entrepreneurship when I was young. And always liked about solving problems. So being a software engineer, it always can give you, software engineering kind of like, solving problem, being a scientist. So that's what kept me started MasterRemit. I saw a big opportunity in terms of the market. I saw a big opportunity in terms of, at the moment, there's a 1 billion people unbanked. Unbanked means those people do not have any financial services or financial account, and the majority of them are in Africa and Southeast Asia, right? So for me is, I know I came from Somalia. Financial institution is very poor. The infrastructure is very poor, and population of Somalia, 99.9% is unbanked. They don't have a bank account or financial. So everyone has a mobile phone. So I said, there's an opportunity here where I can leverage my technology, my skills to build up MasterRemit and solve the big problem.
That's absolutely amazing. And with you, Hashim, I understand you were in a corporate world before you joined the entrepreneurial journey. What made you decide to do that switch?
Yeah, so based on my corporate world experience with project management and execution, etc. So what made me switch is really ability to solve problems, identify the underlying issues, and looking through the end of the tunnel of the final output or solution. With that, I was able to combine with the knowledge and expertise from the IT background that Nuradin has developed, and execute this from a endpoint. So having switched that, there's a lot of transferable skills that you can bring on from one industry to another. And these transferable skills is pretty much communication, leadership, identifying the problem, executing the issue, stakeholder engagement, engaging with multiple stakeholders from different backgrounds of your issue, and coming to an end point. And by bringing those skills, I was able to easily adapt to this changing environment and was able to comprehend and solve these issues.
It's amazing how you're able to transfer your skills from all your experience, which I think is very important in, when you're starting up on the entrepreneurial journey, because sometimes you think, oh, you have to know business, you have to know something specific, but you don't actually. It's all your historical experiences, your learnings that actually contribute towards that journey as well.
Absolutely correct, Charmaine. From entrepreneurship, some young people or even a lot of people think, oh, you have to be from food technology to be able to establish a food technology startup, or you got to be from an IT background to be able to do a development SaaS product or whatever. That is totally incorrect. You can develop anything you want, and you can do anything that you want by applying your existing skills, engaging with multiple stakeholders, asking help with other key people in the area, and having a mentor that can guide you and help you and support you throughout the way. So if you look at most successful startups that exist today in the world, all of them are not from that industry. Majority of them are not from that industry. They either come from a totally different opposite industry, but they were able to, apply their existing skills, transfer them, and then implement that and execute a product.
And it sounds like both of you have like complementing skills in addition to being brothers as well. How has it been working together on this journey of starting up a business and starting it with family as well?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, Charmaine, how I joined is, although that we are brothers and family, we also had an existing ongoing relationship outside the family ourselves as well, where we were close in a nutshell. Therefore, for us to establish a partnership wasn't too difficult because we spoke every day. We done things together most frequently. We caught up frequently to establish that relationship. We called each other whenever we wanted, 2 a.m. or midnight, whatever. There was no barrier, so that relationship was already there. So to be able to establish MasterRemit, the relationship didn't start there. The relationship really started when I was born onwards, because we've lived in the same household and we grew up in the same city. So it was always there. So it wasn't any difficult where it was a high school mate that I met and we're doing business together, or a university graduate where we're doing business. So this is a long-term relationship that will exist forever.
That's amazing to hear. And it's so good that you're still able to, be able to have that family relationship together with the business relationship. So very commendable.
And also what has helped was that Hashim has worked in corporate world. I worked in corporate world. So we both had the culture and the provisionalism and the process and et cetera, right? That has helped a lot as well.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
And just a reminder for the audience, you can actually ask questions. So if you have any questions, you can use the Q&A box or the chat box to ask any questions that you have for Nuradin and Hashim. My question, though, is in your entrepreneurial journey, what have been the greatest challenges that you faced while setting up your business? Because essentially you are playing in the world of as I said, the TransferWise, the Western Unions, and all of that. How has that experience been, and what were your biggest challenges?
So the biggest challenge, they're quite a lot. Probably I can talk about it the whole night. So for me is swimming in the deep sea in terms of not finding a mentor straight away, right? So managing a financial company or startup a FinTech company is not easy, especially when there's a lot of players in it. The marketing, the compliance, treasury, operation. There's a lot of things to manage every single day. So you got to kind of like wearing multiple hats. So for me, one of the biggest regret was not getting a mentor on day one.
Fair enough. Completely understand that.
Yep.
Because people underestimate the importance of having a mentor, even someone who just has that oversight or understanding of the environment that you're going into. Because as you said, you were a software engineer. Entrepreneurship wasn't exactly something that would have come naturally, or even getting into that whole FinTech space, because there's so much that you have to
Exactly. So mentor helps quite a lot. They've been there before, they have done it before, so they kind of make things easy for you. But for me, it was like doing our own, wearing multiple hats, and that kind of give us burnout a lot. We kind of like working 7 days a week, probably working more than 8 hours a week. So for me was if I could get a mentor on day one, I think things could have been different.
And so, Hashim, how have you been able to manage this burnout of, not knowing what to do, working 7 days a week, as Nuradin mentioned? How have you been able then to manage your well-being throughout this process?
Yeah, this process of managing, it happened in a way where we, as in MasterRemit, was growing at an organic growth. And as you know, when you grow as an organic growth, multiple issues, constraints happen from left to right, from an operation point of view, from a compliance point of view, from a legal point of view. and not having a mentor at the same time as well. So what we've done to manage this process is we've brought in a mentor that's also a friend of ours now that we seek to for help and support. He's from the financial payments background. He's got over 35 years of experience in the corporate financial banking payments services, FinTech, where we meet on a regular basis every week for 2 hours, where we talk about current issues, future issues, and we manage this. And, these skills, and obviously of meeting up with a mentor, is skills Nuradin and I have pretty much picked it up from the corporate world, where when you work with an organization, you have your manager as your mentor that helps and supports and guides you. So we are able to implement that, have this as a mentor that guide us, helps us, support us, and pretty much inspires, creates, and grows us.
And what are some of the learnings that you've learned throughout your journey of establishing MasterRemit?
Yeah, some of the learnings that I've learned so far is that nothing is impossible. Nothing is not, everything is achievable. It all depends on your attitude, your commitment, your dedication. And one thing that everyone needs to understand is everything cannot be achieved by yourself. The world is built with network, stakeholder engagement, people, and you have to use your network, the people that you know, and you have to engage, connect, and network. And this helps you really grow and open multiple doors of opportunity. And if we choose to stay in our rooms and close the door, magic is not going to happen. Magic happens when you, open yourselves to opportunities, engage, network, and at the same time, the knowledge and experience that you have, you need to pass that on to other people that may come approach you for support, help, and network.
And you're absolutely right. You can never do it alone.
Yes.
And, it's important to have that support around you,
yeah.
the team around you as well, to help you develop your ideas.
Right.
So Nuradin, how big is your team now?
We're quite big. We've got, we've got team who manages for us the marketing. We've got a team that does the operating. We've got a team that does compliance. We have a team that does the IT. So we're quite a large team.
That's good. And given that you're actually in an emerging market, that would say, in terms of the kind of businesses, FinTech, which is getting really big, especially here in Australia. Yep. What kind of skills do you reckon young people would need to have in order to be able to be competitive and even participate in future economies?
So definitely, definitely soft skills is very important. For me, as I said to you, I started as a software engineer, then moved to more management, right? So software engineer is like, you just cut the code. Every day you can cut the, write a code. So you never learn a management skills. Like, what I mean management skills, leadership skills, strategy skills, presentation skills, communication skills, managing a team. Those kind of really helped me. So I definitely encourage young teams that, start with whatever you're doing and move to more soft skills like leadership, strategy meetings, communication, and presentation. That definitely helped me quite a lot.
And I'm actually surprised. I thought you were going to say you all need to learn coding.
No, definitely not. No, you can, coding. You can outsource it. I can outsource the coding, right? So that's but in terms of leadership and writing a strategy, 2 years of strategy, 5 years of strategy, writing up your presentation skills, your communication skills, management skills, team management skills, you cannot outsource that.
Yeah,
that's the will of the company, right?
Yes.
That's the will of the company. But I can, coding you can outsource it, but definitely you can start what you're doing and move to soft skills as well.
And you're very right. Soft skills are very important.
Very important. Definitely very important. Yeah.
Yeah, and people underestimate the importance of, be it volunteering,
Yeah.
working on projects, and so that you can then gain those soft skills. Now, Hashim, you did mention that, you were able to transfer your skills that you've had over the experience of your career. How have you been able to, well, in essence, have you been able to plan what your career wanted to be like? Did you have a career development plan? Did you have a mentor to help you identify the skills that you need to succeed?
No, not really. Not really. At the start, as we said, we didn't have a mentor. Nuradin and I pretty much started from scratch, and things was just happening as they go past. Progressively, as we went through, when we realized certain issues, certain things, we sat down and we realized, okay, we probably may need to get a contractor to come and do this, or we may need to hire someone to come and do this, or et cetera, et cetera. So by developing those communication and discussion between Nuradin and I, we were able to identify areas of gap and fill those gaps. But again, as Nuradin said, the most important fundamental skills that you cannot bring a contractor in or outsource it is your attitude, your commitment, your stakeholder engagement, and your leadership skills. So these are skills that you cannot bring in someone to come and do. These are skills that you inherit through your primary school, through your high school, through your university, and through your corporate life. And those skills, and obviously your personal life as well, family, home, whatever, your friendship, is able to manage your time, your requirements, your deadlines, and move those in a way where it becomes part of your habit, and it becomes part of your entrepreneurship journey, or your startup journey, or your work ethics journey as well. So those really helped us. But areas of gap that we had, we identified it and we filled it through a contractor, or in some cases, we filled it with a permanent employee of the organization.
Attitude, you bring a very important aspect there, which people forget, that your attitude towards anything that you do, regardless of whatever role that you're in, actually helps to sort of build your work ethic that you can then translate into different aspects. Now, in terms of getting motivated though, because yes, sometimes you're all gung-ho, want to be able to do the work, and then sometimes you're unmotivated. How do you stay the course?
Yeah, very valid question. In terms of motivation, I think, if you do, for example, if you do something you like and you're solving an issue and you're solving a problem, and it satisfies you mentally and physically, then there's no motivation required. You're doing something that you like. But if I'm doing something that I don't enjoy, or maybe just like university, if you're studying something that you don't like, you don't achieve well, you don't do well. But if you're doing something that you like and you enjoy, you will do really well and you excel in that. So having, obviously, solving a financial problem where we are providing, or we are giving a fair go to millions of unbanked people around the world, mostly in developing countries, to receive money from us, from their family and relatives. That's really satisfying, because when someone sends money to their loved ones in the most convenient way using our advanced technology, it kind of satisfies me, because I have solved someone's problem. Someone has received money instantly with no issue. Money is a commodity where when you choose to give it to someone, you want to give it to them straight away. You don't want to wait 24 hours or a day for them to receive it, because emergencies happen, urgencies happen, and it's required instantly. It solves that issue.
As they say, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So it's really good that you're able to find purpose within your work, within your entrepreneurial journey, and the whole purpose of solving a problem. Because at the end of the day, that's what businesses do. Businesses solve problems. So it's identifying the problem that you want to solve and find the best way of solving it. Yeah,
correct.
Excellent. Now, COVID. It's affected all of us in different ways. Everyone has their COVID story, and everyone has had their challenges. How have you navigated COVID with your business?
So if we look at COVID, let's look at before COVID and after COVID. Before COVID, MasterRemit, it's a mission to change how we move money by using your smartphone, tablets, or web, where you register and you send money with love. In saying that, people were all working, they had income, they were using their income to support their family and relatives, etc. When COVID has hit and millions of people have lost their job, have lost their security, at the same time, the loved ones back home still needed money to survive every day for food, shelter, hospital, medical, etc., etc. So there was no compromise on that. So people still managed to send money, and sometimes more than they used to send, because there was some emergencies that were happening. Maybe someone was in sick, hospital with COVID. They needed to send more money than they have previously used to send. So with COVID, for us, really, it did affect some people in some way, but at the same time, it didn't affect majority of our business, because you will still support your family and relatives regardless of COVID, whether they needed money, provided that you are able to source that money out from your savings, pay through a credit card, which we have that function. You can use your credit card to pay money, all those options. But our business pretty much was aware of the issues, and with MasterRemit, we were very considerate of the issues that are happening in the world. We were able to really decrease our profit margin to help our customers, our community, our people that use our platform, by really changing our fee structure, changing our exchange rate structure. So people, even though that we are the cheapest money transfer cross-border payment business out there at the moment, we were still able to really move our margins a little bit less, so that people feel a bit of a relief.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and also in addition to that, I just want to add to what Hashim said, that our business grew during COVID-19 quite a lot. And I say that because, people were locked in homes, and people wanted to find out how they can send the money, right? So people, previously used to go street agents to send money. But when you stuck at home and you want to send money, you have to find a solution. So a lot of people found us that MasterRemit is the online company where you can send money back home while leaving your home, right? So literally, we had more customers than before.
Well, it basically sounds like you were the perfect business to sort of be part of the COVID, because since everyone was locked down, people were still able to send money to loved ones.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like employment at the moment. Before COVID, we used to go into the city, work from the city, but I think businesses now have realized we can work from home without even stepping out of our house. Where with MasterRemit, people always relied on street agents to go and send money. When the doors were locked and there was a full lockdown in Australia, or even Victoria, Melbourne, they had no alternative of ways of sending money. They were able to switch to MasterRemit and send money to their loved ones in the most convenient way by flick of their phone.
Amazing. And so what's next for MasterRemit?
A good question. We actually want to move strategy to Southeast Asia. So we're opening more countries in Southeast Asia. We want to, open office in, Singapore and also other countries of Asia. So our strategy are now moving to Southeast Asia. So that's the next big one coming up.
That's very exciting, because it's also a similar kind of lack of access to banking systems.
Exactly.
Majority of the population.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our strategy at the moment. We want to open big corridors like India, Philippines, Bangladesh, and also we want to present ourselves in Singapore and other big Hong Kong and other big Asian countries.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have a very busy couple of years coming up.
Yes. So in addition to that, Charmaine, we're also in the process of raising some investment funding for MasterRemit to scale up to the next level. We've noticed a growth in terms of revenue, sales of the business over the last 2.5 years. Now is really the best time for us to seek investment. So in addition to that, we're in a process. At the moment, we're in a situation of COVID, etc. Once this issue really quiets down, we were looking to speak to VCs in the venture capitalist space to raise funds for MasterRemit.
Amazing, and I really look forward to hearing more about MasterRemit and some of your ventures. And all the best as well.
Thank you.
Now, any tidbits or any suggestions or advice you would provide to anyone who's looking at starting a business?
Yeah, so I think it's probably a lessons learned for me. Not from an IT background, but I was able to comfortably, transfer existing skills from previous corporate world. So for any advice that I'll give to somebody would be, learning that never ends. You can establish whatever you want and do whatever you want, depending on your existing skills that you can transfer and your attitude and etc. And in addition to that, when you enter a new market space, there's also more learning to do. So there's more courses and things you do. And I was able to do that. And I was able to go out and, study an additional course outside my field within the financial space, where I was able to do a course around AML CTF, where I was able to apply my knowledge about moving money safely in the most secure way out of Australia.
And as you said, continuous learning. It's all about the continuous learning and drawing from some of your previous skills as well. So really good tidbits there. And yourself, Nuradin?
Definitely getting a mentor is very important at the start of the journey, and also getting the right team is very important. So getting in the right team, it makes difference. You always look for someone who can make your company to the next level. That's another tip. And also, start as soon as possible. Most of the young people don't take, risk takers. Be a risk takers and start as soon as possible. You learn. And, it's always, even if it doesn't fail, you always learn a lot.
You're very right there. Taking risks.
Yeah.
Calculated risks, obviously.
Yeah, calculated risks, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
What I've found with a lot of entrepreneurs, whenever they start their business, it's often a risk. You'll never know all the answers.
Yeah.
The key thing is just start.
Start
and then see how it goes. Even if it's a failure, you're learning from that process and understanding something else. And as you've clearly identified with how you've structured your business, with areas that you did not have any knowledge of, you outsourced or found a mentor. So that's also another key thing. You don't necessarily have to know everything. You just need to have the passion to sort of start. Definitely.
Yep, definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah, this goes to every startup that you've ever seen in life, whether it's Afterpay, whether you've seen Uber, no one had 100% skills that they've actually used to build that company. They've actually have 10%, 20%, and the rest came from someone else. They outsource it, get mentor, a coach, whatever, will all come together.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And so since you're growing as a business, have you got jobs for our young people coming up?
Definitely, the things we do differently from MasterRemit is that every job that we advertise through our platform, through our customers. So we give opportunity to most of them are customers, right? So there's one that we just hired about a few months ago. Hashim, was it?
About 6 months ago.
About 6 months ago. Yeah. So definitely just keep an eye on it. We advertise that on our social media and our platforms and etc.
Amazing. And yeah, well, we will definitely be looking out for that. And yeah, please share those opportunities that come around, because what we love about businesses that are started within the community is then you also hire people within the community and you create opportunities for the community. So your success essentially also then becomes the community's success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. There's a particular role that we wanted to bring out long ago, but this role requires engagement and face-to-face and with people. Obviously, due to COVID, that's not possible. But if things do change over the next 2 to 3 months, there'll be a role coming out from a business development, working in the operation space, about engaging with countries that we operate in Africa. So we're looking for a male or female with the right attitude to come in and execute some business development activities.
Well, you've heard it all first here, people. Potential roles coming up for MasterRemit. So if you have business development skills, remember, you don't necessarily have to have the technicalities. If you have the right attitude and transferable skills, you might end up being one of the employers of MasterRemit.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well, I don't think there are any other questions left from the audience. So I'd like to say thank you so much, Nuradin and Hashim, for joining us this evening and sharing your entrepreneurial journey. We are incredibly inspired by the work that you do. We're inspired by your business. We look forward to your development and growth of your business, and we'll continue to support you on the sidelines.
Yep. Thank you very much, Amin, and thanks for hosting us. And it was great talk. And see you next time.
Definitely will. Thank you so much, Nuradin and Hashim. Have yourself a wonderful evening.
Will do.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
There's a question, I think. There's a question. Someone posted something?
Oh,
no.
Last minute question, was it?
No, someone said thank you. That's all right.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, join us same time next week as we interview another business within the community. And it'll be 6:30 p.m. with a live feed to Facebook. Feel free to register on our website as well as our social media. And so have yourself a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.